tight here.
Someday we'll have something a little bit nicer than this IKEA table.
I don't know, man. This table might be coming with us forever.
I know, dude. I feel like we need to like drape something over it, maybe, so it's not so dystopian looking.
Yeah. This thing is kind of cheeks, but
It's always a good hang.
what's good, baby?
What is good,
What's
dude?
up,
We're
bro?
fucking
Grill. How you doing?
Dude, we took a little break.
Yeah, we took a little
break.
We took a little break of filming. Yeah.
Yes. But we are back.
We're back. We attempted an episode a couple weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
It was a disaster.
It was probably the worst.
It
was bound to happen.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
talked
man.
about that, but it was just we talked about. Can we say? What should we say?
Yeah.
We tried to talk about the food chain,
The food web, or
the
whatever
food
you call
web,
it.
food cycle, whatever.
It's not even a bad episode idea. It was just like I don't know.
There is a podcast out there that is way more qualified to speak about that stuff. And I think we should just let them do that because, there wasn't. I think we tried really hard to like bring a funny edge into it, and it just wasn't working. And so,
Nah, it was like I like squirrels, and that was it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, what's your favorite apex predator?
It was trash. So, and we knew it was trash when we were doing it. We were just
Yeah.
like, this is cheeks, man. What are we doing? And
Yeah.
like, there was one point where you were like, yo, like the camera, we had to like reset the camera, and you're like, I'm just going to wrap it up. And I was just like, you know what, dude? This is never going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
This is trash.
It's a good exercise.
The most productive part of it was talking after.
Yes.
And we just had like a really good conversation about like burnout and like, stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I mean, we've been going strong.
yeah.
We kind of made a commitment when we started this to like, we're going to drop an episode every week. We're going to get content out. And once again, shout out to Gil. I mean, he does the lion's share of the work in terms of getting the content ready
To promote.
and for upload and all that stuff, So I'm just sitting here with my freaking broccoli in my hand. And so it can be tedious. And I think it's important to admit that sometimes the thing that you set out to do that is super fun has sides of it that are not fun.
Right. And to remind yourself, we do this. If we're not having fun, like maybe we shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
And like, I think we do have fun with this. We have so much fun with it. And like, I think recognizing, today just wasn't our day.
Right.
Let's just regroup and, come
There was a
back
big
to it.
lesson in and of itself there. And did you just drop
I
your
just
tea
dropped my
inside your
thing
tea?
inside my thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
brother.
What do I do?
We're going to trash this episode. You got to grab it, bro.
Oh, okay. That wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Hey.
Hey. Well, anyway, enough of that sad shit.
Yeah. I got beef towel on my skin right now,
Bro,
bro. I've factored that into the routine.
Listen, this is.
Are y'all on the beef tallow grind?
I do feel like we're a little bit late to the party on the beef tallow thing because here's the thing. I've put it on my hands before, and I don't like the way it feels on my hands.
Yeah, well, it takes a little while, I feel like. Now
Yeah.
my hands feel great.
Right.
It makes my face feel good, and I get this glow a little bit. I don't know if the camera's catching that.
Oh,
but,
dude,
you're
you're shining. You're shining like a
you
bright
got a
star
nice
over
glow
there.
right now, bro.
Yeah, I'm a superstar.
But yeah, man, it might be the secret.
Yeah.
Anyway, just got an ice cream. We just went for a walk. But
We're trying to lock in our pre-show ritual.
Yeah,
I think it's easy, especially that last episode. Not to keep delaying getting into this episode, but this is important stuff to talk about.
man.
That last episode, we kind of just jumped into it, and sometimes we're so busy throughout our day, and we finally have a second to sit down and do this podcast. And when you're in a very chill mood, and someone in your life busts into the room with super manic energy, and you go, you gotta hang out in the airlock for a little bit. And get rid of that before you act,
Is that how I busted in?
No. I'm saying that's how we acted towards the episode.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like we came into it with super manic energy and just busy and burned out. And he was like, we can't, we got to respect the process a little bit more than that.
Absolutely. And I believe like a core part of creating anything is you have to be in a good mood.
Right.
To like create good work, I think.
Yeah,
like I know a lot of writers say this, but like if you have to be in a good mood to sit down and write or whatever you do, like, and I kind of believe that, man. If you're in like a trash mood, like you gotta leave that crap at the door when you walk into that space. So
100%.
Anyways, big dog, we're getting into some cool shit today.
Yeah, I'm excited for this episode, dude.
Yeah. Can I bring us in here?
Please, you're the best at that.
All right. We're talking about life, but we're talking about, what you do when life's, you just got to escape. We're talking about escapism.
Mm-hmm.
That's a broad kind of thing, but it's something we all do. There's not a soul on this planet that doesn't escape sometimes, I would argue.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their form of it.
Yeah, literally.
100%, however big or small.
Right. I want to define it real quick. Like, what is escapism?
Sure.
It refers to the practice of seeking distraction and relief from unpleasant realities, especially by engaging in entertainment or engaging in fantasy. It's a way individuals detach from the day-to-day stressors and challenges of life, finding solace in activities that transport them mentally or emotionally to a different place or state of being. And that's from Mandy Kloppers, mentalhealth.com, mental health expert, Mandy Kloppers. But yeah, bro. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit, I call me Houdini the way I used to escape. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of ways you can look at this, let's talk about like why people do it.
Right.
First of all, I think there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, especially in today's day and age, man, like our world is really difficult to exist in. And obviously everybody has unique problems no matter where they are in like the socioeconomic ladder or whatever. But we're so connected and we have so much information coming at us from other groups of people, and it's really difficult. Like, we're not meant to take in this much information. And so much of it is tragic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like school shooting, and then the forest is on fire, and it's like, dude, like, it's so much negative input. And so
my brain was designed to collect berries in a cave, bro.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's a great point. Like, this tech revolution.
Yeah.
It's enabled this like this 24/7 lifestyle where you're like always on call, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, mentally. It's just like, dude. And like it just makes life challenging, and it just like life can already be kind of stressful and anxiety inducing, and a lot of people have trauma and stuff, and it's just we just live in a very anxious world today.
And we also need to define, like, where's the separation between escapism and survival? You know what I mean? Or self-preservation rather, because escapism can take a lot of forms, right? And that word often has a negative connotation to it, but I think it's important to shine a light on the definition that you just read, and that it's just something that takes you to another place, really, right?
Right.
I mean, I could be remembering the definition.
Yeah, it's finding peace in activities that transport you mentally or emotionally.
Right. So, I mean, you could call hiking escapism.
100%.
Right. You
Absolutely
could call going to the gym escapism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it is a really broad umbrella term. And so the way that people often think about escapism, right? You think of going on TikTok or doing drugs and alcohol or whatever. That is, a direct byproduct of the world that we live in.
Right. Like, let's talk about how it looked like what did it look like in the past? Like, what did people do?
I don't know. I mean,
Books.
I'm sure.
That was probably
100%.
a big
well, how far in the past are we talking about here?
Let's talk 100 years in the past.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, 100 years ago, I mean, books, definitely. I mean, even maybe just getting out of the house, getting out of the office. I mean, that's always been a thing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, taking the horse for a ride. I don't know. It's hard to say because we remember the big parts about history and we know about a lot of the big parts, but unless you study that stuff, it's hard to really know the minutia of what those people actually did to escape. I'm sure drinking was certainly
right.
That has been around forever.
You're
so,
right.
But I mean, if we're talking like, even 40 years ago.
Right. Like before cell phone internet.
Right. I feel like that's the
Gaming.
big divide we're going to be talking
Huge.
about here is like the technological
explosion.
But yeah, I do think that books, I mean, playing outside.
Yeah.
If we're talking about,
Yeah.
mainly younger people, I don't know.
Is it more of a problem now than it was in the past, do you think?
Like just escapism in general.
Yeah, the abuse of it. I would like.
I think we have more avenues to abuse it.
That's right.
But do we have more reason? Do we have more valid reason to go there now?
I would argue, yeah.
Right.
And I think it's kind of what you just said, like this constant onslaught of like, you just know too much almost. Like, I wish I could like know a little less. I don't know.
Right. And it's just like you can't process the amount of information that we get from TikTok, and like those apps are designed to hook you and you doom scroll, and like, you may think in the moment that you're turning your brain off, but you're still taking in so much information. It's like, who the fuck feels rested after they doom scroll?
No.
You know what I mean?
And just like all the, like we joked about it in like the pet peeves episode, I think. Just like the ads, just the constant boom.
Oh my
bang,
gosh,
boom.
dude. Anytime you bring this up, I will preach on it for just a moment, and then I'll get off my soapbox. But the advertising industry has become so disgustingly invasive in our lives, and it feels like you can't blink your eyes without seeing ads on the back of your eyelids.
Literally.
Like, I just, do you remember when YouTube didn't have ads?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people who listen to our podcast remember that. And like, I remember seeing YouTube become more and more and more ad based, and now, it's like 2 times throughout a 10-minute video, you're getting double 45-second ads. I'm like, is this fucking like, I don't know. It's frustrating. And like, zoom out, like it's such a first world fucking problem to like complain about. But
I mean, I'm happy creators are making money.
Right. That's great.
Right.
That's
it's more
great.
so the scrolling and just the.
Yeah.
I want to mention that I was on a Reddit thread, and this dude posed an interesting point, and I'm going to read it.
Okay.
This dude, Hearing Up, Reddit user. He said, I've noticed that society has been selling me everything except how to live a meaningful life. Everything is just consumerism and distractions designed to rob me of my time and money. My question is, if escapism is a poison by dose, why is society trying to force me to increase my dosage at every second?
Whoa.
Bang, dude.
Damn. That's what should be written on the little T thing here.
Yeah, man. Like,
that's hard, man.
it's like God, like this consumerism. Yeah, people just like it's bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? Whatever, dude. Like,
I'll bring up a point that I brought up a couple times ago when we sat down, which is you're allowed to be grateful for a situation and also be very critical of it. Like that's a duality, in my opinion, that can exist. And I think that living in our current world is an example of that. So, we live in this consumer culture, this capitalistic culture, and like, we have access to and the free time to do stuff like this, right? That's great. That's something I'm grateful for. But a critique of consumerism and capitalism is what you're talking about. And it's just this idea that we always need to be sold something, like everything has a price tag on it.
mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit frustrating. And you know how sometimes a photographer won't take a picture of something because the moment is so beautiful that it just, you need to let it just be. And then
That's a thing.
yeah, I've seen a couple instances of that.
Wow.
Or just, just that idea in general. It's like something is so beautiful, or like say you're at a concert.
You think there's some selfishness in that? Like, I don't want anyone to see this.
No, I don't think it's coming from that place. I think it's this moment is so beautiful that to take a picture of it would just make it too much a part of our culture. Maybe culture is not the right word, but like you're commodifying it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And like,
ooh, I don't know if I agree, man.
let me explain this point a little bit further.
Okay.
There's a scene in. Have you seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
I think we talked about this. No, I need to.
I think maybe we even talked about this scene, but there's a scene at the end where he finally finds the photographer that he's looking for, and he's like somewhere in the Himalayas, and he finally sees this one animal that he's been looking to get a picture of for all this time, and he finally sees it. It's like super rare to see this, and he was like, it was so beautiful, I just like couldn't take a picture of it.
Wow.
He just let that moment exist in nature, and then it goes. And like, it's how I feel at concerts sometimes, you know, like you're kind of stealing the soul of the moment a little bit when everyone's phones are up in the air.
Well,
like,
yeah, that does bother me.
The moment is so much more potent when it's like an isolated thing, and you're like, oh, we're all experiencing this together, and it's like such a finite thing, right?
Right.
It's like, you know, it gains value when it becomes finite.
Dude, and that's why I really respect, like, I mean, the Masters. Rory just won the Masters, but at the Masters, you can't have your phone. They don't allow phones on the premises, whatever. And people talk about the experience of being at the Masters, like, it's such an amazing experience because everyone's just, you know, present. Yeah. And it's like when you're staring through your phone at a concert, it's more of the mindset of you're not really like, it's like the mindset of like, I need to share this with people, this moment. Right. And it's like, it always sucks. The video footage of, you know, it's always ass, but it's like, put the phone away and just like, let's all just enjoy this moment of the people that are here.
It's like, I think you're going to get more out of this experience and you're going to remember more of it if you're not living it through your phone screen. And this is another one of those situations where that duality exists, right? I'm very, at least, you know, speaking from personal experience, when I'm playing a show, I'm very grateful when people want to take a video and post it. Like, that's super cool. That's very kind of people to do that. Right. But there is something that's like, you know, you're lost in the lyric and you're lost in the song, and then you open your eyes and there's a fucking iPhone 13 in your face. And you're like, you know, there's something so just like gross about that. And something like, the machine is in the room. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it was just flesh and blood in this room.
Right. It's a great point.
It's a fine line. I think to your point where you were about to outline why you disagree with this, I think I would probably agree with some of the points you're about to make, you know, because there are situations I do think that are very cool to capture.
Right. More so like because you freeze that moment in time and you can revisit it and it jogs your memory of it. Sure. Even if it's just for you.
It's all about intention.
Yeah. Even if it's just for you. It's like, you know, I was in Iceland with my buddies and I had my camera the whole time I was snapping pictures. And, you know, one of my buddies,
phone or a camera?
No, it was like a really nice camera.
That's different to me.
Okay, me too. And I was like, you know, one of my buddies was like, man, you gonna put the camera away and like enjoy this? I'm like, man, I am enjoying this. This is enjoying it for me. Yeah. Because I'm taking all these little moments, and now if I hadn't taken any pictures, I wouldn't remember the trip really. But now I look back and it like sparks these little, oh my God, I remember, and then bang, it jogs my memory of this and that. And now it's like I can relive it. And it was like, wow, that was a really special trip. And I'm like, man, I'm glad I took this one picture, man. I might pop it up on the screen. Okay. It was a couple walking like on a glacier or like right near this big, tons of glaciers in the background. And it's this couple in their, she was in her wedding dress and he was in his tux. And no one else was around. There was no photographer on them. They were just walking. And I'm standing up on this hill and I'm like, this is an all-time shot I'm about to take. Right. And I took this picture and it's just, I wish I knew who the couple was. I wish I could send them this picture, man. It's getting me choked up thinking about it.
Maybe
that'd be unbelievable. Man,
this will be a TikTok clip, and we got to TikTok, do your thing. We got to find this couple.
We got to find this couple because here's the picture of them walking in Iceland with the glaciers, and it's just magical.
Oh, so. That's beautiful, dude. That's amazing. Holy crap.
Getting a little off topic, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just how I feel about it. Like I hear your point too. I do hear your point.
Yeah, I'm the type of person, I don't know, when I'm in those moments of like just unbelievable beauty, I don't want to take any pictures. I want it to just be an isolated moment for me, and I don't know. I don't ever want to. And let me get this straight. Like, there are people, you being one of them, that can fully experience a moment even whilst taking pictures. I'm just not one of those people. Okay. I need to be fully there. So if we go on a trip together, it'll be great because you take the pictures and we'll remember it.
You'll post stuff.
Because I do love, you know, if someone took pictures, I do like looking back at them. But I don't know, maybe that just makes me fucking selfish. But
no.
I don't know.
Some people enjoy it.
Yeah.
What's your go-to? What's your, like, you got to escape, you know?
Are we talking like toxic escapism?
Let's go toxic, and then we can talk about some healthy options. Yeah.
Toxic is probably...
I wouldn't even call it toxic, bro. I don't want to label it toxic.
Yeah. No, you're totally. That's a good point.
Because I think any level of escape, there's levels of escape. Like I think escapism can be healthy. I think it can be self-care. I think
100%.
And I think there's a line.
Right.
When you go over the line. Okay.
Yeah. I would say, let's put it this way. My escapism that doesn't really involve self-improvement in the conventional way that we think about it, I would say is video games.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't drink anymore. That was definitely my go-to.
That was a
when
big
I
one
did.
for me. Substances were big.
Right. And
what kind of video games? What was your first console you had?
my first console was a PlayStation 2.
Okay.
And my first game, I don't remember what came first, but I had, Star Wars Battlefront and Tony Hawk Underground.
Oh, great.
Those are like my, dude, I loved those games so much.
Ripped them.
Yeah. What about you?
My parents got me a GameCube when I was pretty young. So I like jumped in. I was like a Nintendo kid playing the Mario games. I think Super Mario Sunshine was one of the first games that I had.
You ever play Kirby Air Ride?
I don't think so.
No.
But I had like Smash Melee, played the piss out of that. I had a bunch of games on my GameCube. Oh, the Lord of the Rings. Did you ever play the Lord of the Rings games?
I did. I played that on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, those were sick, dude.
Those were great.
Those were sick. Man, I would love to play those with you. We should.
Let's
I
do
would
it.
like get a refurbished PS2 or something.
Oh, dude, my parents, I think they still have
Really?
mine
Oh wow.
somewhere. My dad keeps everything, dude.
Oh hell yeah.
What is your go-to escape in that category?
I like gaming for sure. TV, movies.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. It's
Yeah.
true.
I was a Gears of War head. That was like my shit, bro.
Yeah.
Gears, like.
Yeah, it was Call of Duty for me.
Yeah,
Still is.
yeah, I still play Gears, man, and I've been on this kind of like Fortnite kick lately. Fortnite lost me. Back in the prime of Fortnite, kids were getting too good at building, and I was like, this is
It was
chaos.
just too much.
Yeah, it was too much. So I gave up on Fortnite for a while, but me and my buddy's like, yeah, they got zero build. There's like a zero build mode.
Right.
And they brought the OG map back. So I've been playing like OG zero build with him, having the
great.
time of my life, bro.
That's amazing.
We got to run it. Like, it's just so
Dude,
fun.
yeah.
Dude.
It's always better with a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. But gaming, TV. Sometimes I'll binge. If I start binging reality TV, that's when I know my mental health probably needs a little, it's time to get back in the gym. Yeah.
When
like,
Jersey
all right.
Shore's running in the living room.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
24/7.
am I hurting right now? Yeah.
so funny.
But yeah, man, like that's kind of my thing. I wish I read more and stuff, but everyone has like, sometimes you just need to decompress, dude. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So
Here's a question. What is the thing you're escaping from? Right. We know what you're going to, but what is the thing? What are the stressors here?
it's probably just the stuff that I know I should be doing or I could do. I could be working on stuff. I could be, and I do a lot of that as it is. And I think this is where the healthy balance comes in. Like it's unrealistic, bro, to be grinding 24/7.
Yeah, that's
even on the
stupid.
stuff that you're passionate about.
Oh yeah.
Like you burn out, dude. Like you need to escape. You need to escape. But you know what I mean? You need to and escaping can be, hobbies. I like to cook. I like to listen to music. I like to play sports. Like, you know what I mean? Some people escape with work.
Right.
All they do is like they work because and what are they escaping from? That's the question. Personal fulfillment,
Family
relationships,
life, maybe?
yeah, dreams. Maybe they have these big ambitions, but like I'm just gonna stay in my lane. Yeah, they're terrified of it. Yeah, whatever. So individual happiness. I mean,
Damn, dude.
sometimes you just
Talk your shit, dude.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, but yeah, drugs, overeating. I'm not saying I'm this, but
What's funny is that a lot of these things can be the stressor and also the thing that you go to. It
Right.
can be the escape.
yeah, facts.
It's really interesting.
You know what I mean? People like the overeating thing. Like, I don't know.
I get stress eating. I definitely.
Something.
sometimes.
You're unhappy on some level. I think if that's what you're turning to. That's just how.
What do you mean, like overeating?
Yeah, I mean, if you're abusing anything,
Sure. I was gonna say I think there's a lot of factors involved. with
food,
eating
drugs,
a lot,
whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just like the overconsumption of not only, nourishment, but social media,
Social media is a big one,
pornography,
dude.
like
Porn,
all
oh
of
my
it,
god,
dude. Like
yeah.
it's all like just the fucking dopamine that just goes sick nasty in your brain when you're doing that shit. And it's like, no wonder you feel depressed after it. It's like you've just depleted those centers, man. And it's
it's your life force as a man, too.
yeah, man. For me, I love my job. I love playing music and I love being a producer, but it gets to be a lot sometimes, man. And like when like every holiday people are like, "Oh, play this, bring your guitar to a ball," and it's like I just want to
I just want to hang out.
I don't want to do that here.
Oh man, I almost asked you to do that one time. Now I kind of feel bad.
What?
I was just like, yeah, you should bring your. It's like, why would I ever make you do that?
Hold on. What was it?
I don't know.
Was it like a friend gathering or something?
Yeah, probably. Or maybe in the future, I was like, oh, if Riz comes to the 4th of July, like, he should bring his guitar.
Oh, that's
just ridiculous for me to.
No. I would do it because I love you.
Nah, but I wouldn't. That would, it's like.
But no. I sound like such a douche being like, I don't want to do that. Like,
no. It's facts.
But yeah, I don't want to sound like I don't like sharing my gift because I'm super grateful for it. And like, I happen to do something that is very community based and it's great. So
right.
I love sitting around the fire, playing songs, singing with everybody. That's great.
Dude, there was one time at the coffee shop after you performed and whatever, and we all just like kind of hung out and you had your guitar. You remember this?
Yes.
And you were just like, people were just like yelling out songs and you just like knew them. And you just start playing them. It was an electric 2 hours, man. We were all just like singing together.
That was better than the gig.
Dude, it was sick.
Yeah. There's literally nothing like just sitting around with your friends and jamming and like singing songs together, man.
100%, bro. There's nothing like it. But how you doing? Let's talk about some healthy escape.
Yeah. Let's do it, man. What is...
sometimes you just like, I don't know, like physical activities. Hiking.
How
many times have we been like, let's go hiking? I need to unplug and get the fuck away.
Yeah, and then we
from
fucking freeze.
Yeah. Did we talk about that on the podcast?
We did. I think we talked about it. Maybe we talked about it on the episode that we trashed. So,
I don't know.
Long story short, we slept in the car.
I think we might have mentioned it.
But I feel like outdoor activities and like, physical activities, it's such a go-to to talk about when we talk about healthy escapism, but like there's so much. I mean, playing music, reading a book, journaling, calling a friend.
Any kind of creative pursuits, mindfulness practices, I would argue those are healthy escapes, what I mean? I guess the question becomes, dude, like, where is the line between escapism and reality?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point, man.
It's like,
wait, say that one more time. Where is the line between escapism and reality?
In reality, so like, where is it now? Now we're talking about healthy escapism. But
like, where's the line between that and doing drugs?
What is reality then? Like, what is
reality is like the thing in the middle,
like going to work. Like, I don't know.
I guess
things you don't like. Anything you don't like is reality. Everything else is escape.
I'll get that on a t-shirt, dude. That's dark.
I don't know. Yeah, fuck. But that's just not the truth because, like like we just said earlier,
I think you create your reality. So, like, your reality can be something that you escape with, right? And if the thing that you're escaping with is super healthy, and it becomes your life, you're not really escaping anymore. You're kind of just
right.
You've reached nirvana.
Right. That was something I actually. That's interesting. Like, so can you find your purpose while escaping? I'd say absolutely.
100%. That's probably how most people find it.
Right.
I
get another interesting question I want to pose.
Okay.
Is escapism growth's opposite?
Ooh.
And here's the thing. Here's what I think. We just mentioned something along the lines of, if, like, I feel like if you're escaping, you're doing something, you're in your comfort zone, escaping, right? You're not escaping into something that's If it's super challenging and it's pushing you out of your comfort zone, that's not
really
escapism.
escapism,
There's no way that's escapism. That's what you should be kind of doing. But so is escaping too much gonna impact your growth as a human being? I would say absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, would you define? You said growth is the opposite of escapism. It's like, so growth is anything that you find personal strides in because it's uncomfortable and challenging, right? Like that's how we're defining growth.
I would argue that's a big part of growth. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the main part of growth. But I don't know. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's a straight line like that. I think that your life needs to be a constant ebb and flow of growth and escape, and like those things can flip.
Right.
And throughout your life and your own journey, I mean, what once was an escape for you can. Here's an example. Like, I started playing music because it was an escape for me, right? It helped me through really difficult times mentally. It made me feel a sense of belonging. It gave me a sense of purpose in this world, right? These are like all good things.
Right.
And once it became my career, it's like, talk about like going on The Voice, right? That's a growth opportunity, but it was incredibly uncomfortable for me, right? And so the thing, right, music has never changed, but its role in my life has changed quite a bit. And it's constantly going back and forth, right? And different aspects of it are always changing. And so like, I don't think it's as simple as like growth is the opposite of escapism, but it's like growth is the twin sister of escapism,
Interesting.
If that answers your question.
Yeah. Might have
But I don't know. What do you think, Bive?
I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I'll think of these questions with no answer, and we'll do it live. Fuck it. But
Fuck it up. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you said, like the ebb and flow. Like I think it's a real tight balance. I think because if I've noticed in my life when I'm escaping too much, I get depressed.
Right.
And like I'm not like I think Jim Carrey, like he had a really interesting way he described depression, and he said something along the lines of like it's the avatar that you're playing, like you're unhappy with the person you're playing, like you're just and like that's like facts, dude. Like I really agree with that, and it's funny, man. Like we talked about it on this podcast before. It might have been very early on, like maybe wellness journey episode, but just like. Not being happy but knowing what you can do to change your life. I know if I did these things, my life would improve, but just not doing them. You just don't do them. And like, why is that? Because they're hard? Because they're probably hard and uncomfortable. And so like the escape becomes just hanging out in the comfort zone. I don't know. And I kind of think it is. You say it's the twin sister. I think it might be the opposite. But it's you don't. Do you need to be growing constantly? It'd be nice, but I think you have to maintain sanity while you're doing it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a slow incline. I don't know, man.
Do you kind of see it as like?
I look at it. I look at it as. All right. Well, is escapism a privilege or a survival mechanism? Maybe a little of both.
I absolutely think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. Because, man, I just try to think of not enjoying. Like a lot of the things I enjoy are considered, escaping. But some of them are worse than others, and I don't know. Some
of them just like make you happy. Sometimes it is that simple.
Right.
I do think we live in a culture, especially like in our social media culture, where there's this pressure to just always be on your fucking A game. And that's so unrealistic, like you said, to hustle and grind every day. So I fucking hate that whole culture. Like rest culture needs to become more of a thing. And I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't really know what point I was trying to make there.
No, it's true, man. Like, it's true.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is like be nice to yourself. Like you're allowed to escape every once in a while. And
if all you're doing is escaping, though, you're gonna be unhappy.
Right. Right. And
you're not because you're not growing.
Yeah. And it's tough because, no one can define what those next steps are for you but you. And so
the same dude on Reddit the quote that I mentioned earlier said this: does anyone else feel like the more they focus on their mission purpose, the less they feel the need to be plugged in on all the latest fads, games, movies, social media trends?
that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so serendipitous that you mentioned that. I was literally thinking about that today. Just thinking like trend chasing, and it's exhausting to try to keep up with all that stuff.
Right.
And I think that stuff is an escape or a distraction from like really tapping into the thing, like what it's all about, right?
Right. And I feel like we're both pretty tapped in of like, on a mission kind of. And
Right.
I don't get FOMO really anymore. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I don't really like, I'm not like afraid of missing out. Oh, you guys went out last night, whatever. Like, I don't like, that doesn't bother me no more that I miss out on those things.
Right. I think it's like you just want to feel good. And if that means one night going out, great. If that means staying in 7 nights a week, great. Like this pressure to conform and to just fit into someone else's mold like that, I just hate. It's so stupid. Like what a waste of time.
Right.
And it's easy to say that when you're kind of on the other side of that anxiety, but I do want to validate anybody who feels that way, because that's a very real anxiety. Like this pressure to fit in and pressure to feel wanted and the pressure to find your purpose. Like those are really heavy topics.
Yeah.
And it's,
I feel like sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
We live in an epidemic of people feeling just unworthy.
Right.
Like there's just this heavy unworthiness. And
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think maybe it's because of the assault on us from all this technology, like and crap, and like everything. Like imagine if you hadn't seen any movies or hadn't, or you hadn't like you had no perception of what you needed to look like or be like or whatever.
Right.
And it was just raw. You probably would feel worthy.
Right.
Of whatever, worthy of everything, success, love, happiness, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just this, the comparing,
Well, it's like, ask yourself, what do we celebrate on social media? The perfect body, being a millionaire, having the hit song, having the lead role.
I can't like I open up Instagram, it's like, man, you need this, you need that. We talked about this already, but like, you want to get rich, do this. You're not PDF farming? What are you doing, bro? Like, what the fuck?
Get that shit out of my fucking life, dude. Oh my God. And you know what's funny, man, is we've seen it affect just people, not only people close to us, but just our culture in general. And we're going to do an episode on this, like just the male mental health crisis.
Can't wait.
Of all this. And it's crazy, dude. I mean, you look at these people and they're like, are you a fucking NPC now? Like what, like how did this get to you? Like, how did you buy into this bullshit? Like you got to ask yourself, if the grid goes down, if tomorrow TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify just all didn't exist, would you still have your purpose? Is that still something that you would be able to hold on to? Is that like, or have you wrapped your entire self-worth up in a superficial, fleeting, chain of zeros and ones?
Right.
And it's kind of scary to think about it like that, because it makes you realize how fragile all of this is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like, we escape to something that is so fragile and so, meaningless so much of the time. And I don't want to discount all of the great information that circulates on social media. As much as there is just bullshit information, there's a lot of great stuff. And I've learned a lot on social media, and instructional videos on TikTok and like people have devoted their entire social careers to educating other people. And I think that's great, dude.
Yeah.
But it is just kind of crazy to think about how fragile that ecosystem is. Just at, one flip of the magnetic poles and it's all going down. I don't know if that happened, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
It's wild to think about.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Where's the line between like self-care and avoidance?
That's such a good question, man. Like where is it in? Where's the middle, and what's directly on either side of it?
Right. I don't know.
Let's narrow it. Let's like zero in on it. So what's close to the line? I think video games is closer to the line than you think.
Oh, I was thinking more from a time perspective.
Oh,
Like how much time you're spending escaping versus like what's self-care? Well, that's totally subjective, obviously, but I mean, this is kind of a complicated question. You know? Like for me, like I'm just gonna use an example from my life. Like say I get out of acting class and it was like a heightened emotional class. I'll come home sometimes like, and it's just like like I feel like I need to decompress. Like I could be doing stuff. I could be, there's some stuff that I could do, but I feel like I need to lock in and escape. And it's like healthy.
Right.
It's like legitimately healthy to decompress. And like, it's like, yeah, like maybe I don't have a ton of time for this right now, but this is self-care.
right.
You know what I mean? It's not, I'm not really actively avoiding. I don't consider that procrastinating on some of the things I got to get done.
No.
It's, I need this right now to decompress. And when I get that fix, all right, let's snap back in, lock back in. I think whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, I think a good way to the best word for that is maintenance. And like it's healthy for you to do that because you know that's what you need in that moment, right? Like you're in tune enough with yourself to know, hey, if I don't decompress right now, my later work is going to suffer.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really big deal to recognize when you need those moments, because how common is it that you watch people go the full opposite way and they're like, I'm just going to work, and I'm never going to take a break. And like these people crash, man, it's crazy. And so like, rest is super important. And if your rest involves you locking in on Fortnite, like, great.
Whatever,
you know what I'm saying? And like, you're not hurting anybody by doing that.
What do you think Rory McIlroy did when after he won the Masters? After that incredibly stressful multiple day stretch? Like all he wanted to do probably was like, I just want to disappear into my house and like watch like Rick and Morty. Like,
have a beer or something.
That's probably something that he probably was like, that's what I would want to do. Just like I want to escape the entire world right now.
You just used every ounce of your spiritual being to accomplish what you did.
Right.
It's time to recharge.
Yeah.
And I do think like, here's to kind of go deeper inside your question, like where is the line between, and I'm talking like, let's list specific activities. Like where is the line between activities that'll recharge you and like going off the rails a little bit? Because, he could go watch Rick and Morty and have a, soft pretzel with cheese, or he could go on a bender. You know what I mean?
I think that's where it I think the bender's a great word too, because I've gone on plenty of benders where I was like, I remember I pledged to my fraternity, and it was like, multiple months of like just, it was brutal. And then all I wanted to do was like, I remember just like watching a bunch of Disney movies.
Oh, that's so, it
just totally like recentered my spirit. But it got to the point where I was just like, then I was on like a 10-day Disney watching bender.
Yeah.
And I was like avoiding like social interactions, like,
that's
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was, it's just like, all right, dude. I don't know. It's hard to recognize in like when you're,
What I'm gathering from this conversation is that it's very hard to define where that line is, but you know it when you see it.
Right.
And it's you know when you're doing something toxic and unhealthy. You know when you're doing something healthy, and you know when you're doing something that's just kind of neutral. Yeah. Like watching a movie or playing a video game. Like not everything has to be healthy. It doesn't have to be, steps towards your big goal.
Right.
Like watching a movie, playing video games, just drawing a picture, like these simple tasks and activities, like those are so important for us to exactly to fill our cup back up, put some beef tallow on your face, bro, look good. Like, come on. I don't like that we've created a culture in which we ostracize people who prioritize rest. You know what I'm saying? Like we have created an atmosphere and a culture of never stop, never stop until you get to
sleep when I'm dead.
Dude. Yes, exactly. And so I think the big idea here is escapism is okay. Is, obviously within reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the biggest message here is just be kind to yourself.
Right.
If you really want to grow, you have to be kind to yourself in the moments that aren't uncomfortable.
Right.
Don't make those moments uncomfortable
Right.
if they don't need to be.
Right.
So it's an interesting topic, man. It's, something, it's one of those words that has such a, surface value meaning.
Kind of pejorative, yeah.
Right. But when you really dig into it like we have today, it's really, really complicated. Defining it and recognizing it and practicing it in a healthy way and like kind of embracing escapism.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's a good place to end it, bro.
Yep, I'm with it. Let's go escape. Bang! Sure. Changed. Fuck yeah, dude.